Alex Eala set sights on Italian Open in Rome. Rome. After a hard-fought campaign in the Madrid Open, Filipina rising tennis star Alex Eala now shifts her focus to the next big challenge on the Women's Tennis Association (WTA) calendar, the 2025 Italian Open, set to take place on May 6-18 at the iconic Foro Italico here. Known as one of the premier stops on the WTA Tour, the Italian Open is a critical stepping stone for players preparing for the French Open. For Eala, it offers a golden opportunity to fine-tune her clay court skills against the best in the world, just weeks before making her much-anticipated Grand Slam main draw debut at Roland-Garros. The 19-year-old Filipina is expected to face elite competition, including world No. 1 Aryna Sabalenka, in what promises to be a defining moment in her professional journey. With every match, Eala continues to show growth, grit, and the tenacity that has carried her from junior Grand Slam titles to the sport's highest levels. As she enters this new chapter of her career, Filipino fans around the globe are rallying behind her. The road to Roland-Garros is heating up, and all eyes are now on Rome. Red Clay Dreams. Alex Eala's Roman journey. In the early morning hush of Rome, when the air still carried a sleepy chill and the cobblestones shimmered with dew, Alex Eala laced up her tennis shoes. The eternal city stretched out before her, its ancient soul whispering stories of gladiators, emperors, and now, perhaps, a rising star from the Philippines. The Italian Open was more than a tournament. It was a rite of passage. Rome's Foro Italico wasn't just another stop on the WTA Tour, it was a battlefield of red clay, passion, and history. For Alex, standing on the cusp of greatness, this was her proving ground. She'd been here before, not in body but in dreams, the kind she'd nurtured since she first gripped a racket at age 7. Now 19, with several ITF titles under her belt and a growing presence on the tour, the stakes were different. She wasn't the underdog anymore. She was the dark horse people were beginning to whisper about. Her coach watched silently as she practiced, her forehand carving arcs through the dusty Roman air, her footwork sharp, purposeful. There was a quiet fire in her, one that didn't roar, but smoldered, the kind that burned long after the match was done. "Alex," her coach called, as she wiped sweat from her brow. "How you feel?" She took a breath, staring out at the clay court that stretched ahead like a challenge. "Like I've been waiting for this." The days leading up to the tournament blurred into a rhythm. Serve, return, adjust. In between practices, Alex wandered the city's ancient ruins, drawing strength from the resilience carved into every pillar and stone. Rome had withstood centuries. She needed just 1 week of her best tennis. But it wasn't all grit and grind. There were gelato stops near the Trevi Fountain, laughter shared with her team at Trattoria's, and the quiet phone calls home. Her parents' voices a balm in the chaos. "Do your best, Anak," her mother said gently one evening. "You're carrying more than a flag. You're carrying dreams." Opening day arrived beneath a sun that turned the courts into kilns. Her first-round opponent was a seasoned European, older, stronger, and more experienced on clay. The commentators muttered politely about Alex's potential, hedging their bets. She'd heard it all before. Potential. Promise. Someday. But Alex wasn't here for someday. She was here for now. The match began, and the first few games were tight. The clay throwing off odd bounces, the crowd leaning in. Alex adjusted. She dug deep, sliding across the court like a dancer on terracotta, her racket slicing through the heavy Roman air. Her opponent tried to dictate play, but Alex responded with composure beyond her years. Topspin-heavy rallies, fierce angles, and the occasional drop shot that left the crowd gasping. 2 hours later, she stood victorious. Her fist pumped once, not out of pride, but out of purpose. From there, the Roman tale unfolded match by match. The reporters came, intrigued by this unassuming teenager who spoke softly but played like thunder. In interviews, she remained humble. "I just focus on what I can control," she'd say. But her eyes told a different story, one of hunger, belief, and the quiet roar of someone who had dared to dream big. By the quarterfinals, the buzz was undeniable. "Eala mania," they joked, but there was respect in their tone now. The crowds grew. Fans waved Filipino flags. Somewhere in the stands, an old couple visiting from Manila clutched hands and cheered like family. For many, she wasn't just a player. She was a symbol. Then came her toughest match, a top-seeded opponent, battle-hardened and ruthless. For a moment, it seemed like the fairy tale might end. Alex dropped the first set 6-1, struggling under the pressure and the brutal sun. But legends aren't made from ease. Between sets, she closed her eyes. Not to retreat, but to remember. The cracked courts of Manila, the long flights, the homesickness, the injuries, the people who doubted, and the girl who chose to believe anyway. She stepped back on court with a new fire. Her shots found corners. Her serves kissed the lines. Every point was war, and Alex fought like it was her last. She won in 3 grueling sets. By the time she reached the semifinals, Rome had embraced her. Children asked for autographs. Journalists learned to pronounce Eala correctly, and the dream, once so far away, was now only 2 matches from reality. She didn't win the title. Not this time. But she earned something deeper. The respect of a city, a sport, and herself. As she stood beneath the Roman sky after her semifinal loss, sweat mingling with clay on her skin, she felt not defeat, but destiny. Because Rome wasn't the end. It was the beginning. As she packed her bags, one reporter asked, "So what's next for Alex Eala?" She smiled. "Paris. Wimbledon. New York. Anywhere my dream takes me." Alex Eala set sights on Italian Open in Rome. The cobbled streets of Rome are no stranger to champions. From ancient gladiators to modern-day titans of tennis, the Italian capital has always been a stage for greatness. And now, a new contender enters the spotlight. Alex Eala, the 19-year-old tennis sensation from the Philippines, has set her sights on the prestigious Italian Open. Fresh off a string of solid performances on the ITF and WTA circuits, Eala arrives in Rome not just to participate, but to compete with conviction. With each tournament, her confidence has grown, and her ambition has sharpened. The Italian Open, held on the iconic red clay of the Foro Italico, presents both a challenge and an opportunity, one that Eala is determined to seize. A rising star. Born in Manila, Eala's journey from local courts to international arenas has been nothing short of meteoric. A former junior Grand Slam champion and Rafa Nadal Academy scholar, she has carried the hopes of a nation on her shoulders since her early teens. But Eala is no longer just a promising junior. She's evolving into a formidable force on the Pro Tour. Her 2025 season has seen notable improvements in both form and mental toughness. Victories over higher-ranked opponents, deeper runs in WTA events, and an increasingly versatile clay court game have all contributed to her growing reputation as a serious threat. "I've been working a lot on adjusting to clay, physically and mentally," Eala shared ahead of the tournament. "The movement, the rhythm, it's very different, but I'm feeling good. Rome is special, and I want to make the most of it." Rome, a test of grit. The Italian Open, known officially as the Internazionale BNL d'Italia, is one of the most significant clay tournaments outside of Roland-Garros. With top-tier players and a passionate crowd, it offers a high-pressure environment that can both intimidate and inspire. Eala sees this not as a threat, but as a test, one that aligns with her broader goals. "Every match I play here is part of something bigger," she says. "I'm learning, adapting, and growing into the player I want to become." With her powerful baseline game, improved court coverage, and growing composure under pressure, Eala is expected to challenge even the more experienced clay court specialists. Though not yet seeded, she's widely regarded as a potential upset maker, someone who can surprise a big name on any given day. More than a match. But for Alex Eala, the Italian Open isn't just another tournament. It's a statement, a chance to show that a Filipino can stand tall on one of tennis's biggest stages, not as a novelty, but as a contender. "Playing in Rome is a dream," she admits. "There's history here. You feel it in every step, every bounce of the ball. And for me, it's a reminder of how far I've come, and how far I still want to go." Off the court, Eala is quickly becoming an ambassador for Filipino tennis. Her rise has inspired a new generation of athletes back home, many of whom now believe that a career in global tennis isn't just a fantasy. Looking ahead, whether or not she makes a deep run in this year's Italian Open, Alex Eala's journey is clearly accelerating. With eyes already set on Roland-Garros and the Olympic Games later this year, Rome is more than a destination. It's a milestone. Each match she plays here is a brick in the path she's paving, one that leads not just to trophies, but to history. as she walks through the tunnel into the summit Foro Italico. Racket in hand, there's a calm focus in her stride. She's not just chasing wins. She's building a legacy. And Rome is watching.